Thank you for joining Life, Business, and Money with Stephen K., the show that offers information and advice on improving your personal and professional life. Now, here's your host, Stephen K.
Welcome, everybody. We are back today with a good friend of mine and president of Soft Sell Training, Adam Halpern. Adam is the principal consultant of his own company, Soft Sell Training. It's a consulting firm based here in Houston, Texas, that helps people develop successful training programs for organizations throughout the United States. And what Adam has done is this is not about teaching your salespeople how to sell. It's about unlocking the sales potential of all of your employees who are influencing the sales process and customer retention through contact with your clients, with your customers, and making sure that they develop the opportunities that can help you increase your business. And so Adam is here today to talk to us about unlocking the sales potential of all your employees. And if you have a business where other people besides your sales staff is interacting with your customer, then give us a call. If you have a question about how to develop better customer retention through your non-sales staff with the soft sell approach, then give us a call at 713-STEVEN-K. That's 713-STEVENK. So, Adam, the soft sell approach. What does that really mean? I mean, what is that about?
So, soft sell's more of a philosophy than a methodology. We, for those of you out there that have been in sales and have had sales training in the past, I don't know about you, but I've had probably 5 formal methodologies taught to me, not to mention I don't know how many books. And over time, I've just realized I'm going to say something that most sales trainers will never say, which is it's all the same. So
it is. There's so many books written on the subject over and over again. And you like, which one do you follow? Which one do you believe? But when you read in between the lines, you see that they're all telling you the same thing.
I don't care if it's spin or funnel or DDR or whatever you want to call it. At the end of the day, selling is nothing more than human beings interacting with each other and providing good customer service with a particular intent. And so the soft sell approach is taking the universal truths that you hear in any sales methodology and applying it to a new part of the organization. And that is namely those that interact with customers on a daily basis and need to be trained to capitalize on that relationship to look for additional leads and or upsell and cross-sell.
And, it's interesting that you said in every aspect of our business and every aspect of our life, there's some sort of sales process happening there anyway. I think Ross Perot said it best is life is sales. If you're not selling, you're buying in some way, shape, or form. That's true no matter what it is that you're doing, whether it's answering the phones at the office or dealing with purchasing issues or dealing with other vendors. Everything in some way, shape, or form has a sales process inside of it.
Yeah, I can't tell you how many corporate meetings I've been to where an executive has stood up and said, we're all salespeople here. And that's well and good to say, but then you need to go back and enable those individuals that you want selling with the right skills to do it. So in their defense, they suddenly feel pressure to do something they've never been trained to do. And so it is true, everyone should be selling, or the way I like to say it is, everyone should be continuing to build the customer relationship and continuing to build the value perception within the customers that you already have.
And it's not sales in the traditional sense. You're not asking people who don't have that skill set to try to develop something that they aren't comfortable with. It's about integrating a process in your organization that allows customers to see other opportunities you have to serve them.
Absolutely. And one of the unique things about the soft sell approach is that our philosophy is based on human personalities. And so one of the first courses we do is called Leveraging Interpersonal Styles. And the idea is that individuals in different organizational units have different personality types. Not everyone is born to be a professional salesperson. And so you need to understand the people that are within your teams, understand their personality types, understand their skill sets, and then learn how to adapt those to maximize them for getting involved in business development.
Now, how many times have you seen what you just said, a company president or owner stand up and saying, we're all salespeople here, and giving all of his people a new task of trying to develop sales within the organization wherever they're contacting the customer and do exactly what it is that you just said, which is put people in an uncomfortable situation, and it doesn't work out?
Well, it's more common than I'd like to admit. But I will tell you things are changing, all right? It's, the economy's not what it used to be back 10 years ago. The money's not flowing like it used to be. And people that are in charge of organizations and companies recognize that they have to maximize every aspect of their employees. And so the beauty of giving business development techniques to people outside the direct sales force is you're basically extending your sales force without adding any headcount.
And at the same time, you're helping your company grow by doing those additional things.
Absolutely. In fact, if you think of selling as the process of building trust and intimacy with initially a prospect and then a customer, normally all that effort, time, and money goes into building that relationship between the salesperson and the customer. Well, what happens when that salesperson leaves the company? Suddenly that customer relationship is just left out there hanging. But if you train the individuals in your organization to continue the business development process, if that salesperson leaves, that trust and connection has been transposed onto the whole organization, so you don't lose the customer relationship.
Yeah, because those customers, if that salesperson goes to one of your competitors, that customer goes with them. If they feel that every person in the organization that they have dealt with has connected to them and they've developed that relationship with the customer and your company, then you certainly have a much stronger bond with that client.
Absolutely, and it drives the perception of value deep into the psyche of the customer. I'll give you an example. We're working with a landscaping company right now. Landscaping, right? And so their average ticket price is $500,000. And this is for residential landscaping, so we're talking high wealth individuals. So they are running a tier 1 landscaping or business service. So they don't want just their salespeople delivering value to the customers. They want everyone in sales support, everyone in the organization understanding how to provide business development and illustrate the value of their organization to the customer at every level.
And think of that on the reverse end. If every person in the organization that comes in contact with that customer is not doing that, they're actually hindering or hurting the sales process.
Yeah. Probably the best example I can think of for that is in the IT world, tech support. No offense to you tech support people out there. That's how I started my career. But you don't really want tech support people telling customers, yeah, that's a bug, or, oh, don't use that piece of the software, it's crummy. That doesn't really quite build the profile that you're looking for when it comes to selling.
It doesn't resonate well.
No, it doesn't.
And even if it's factual information, you want it relayed into the customer in a way that's positive and helps provide them a solution.
There are different ways of saying it. There are things like, okay, thank you for that information. That'll be part of a future enhancement. There's always a positive way to continue to build on the confidence that customer has invested in the company.
Well, the number for you to call if you have a question for Adam or myself about how to develop soft selling skills throughout your organization, give us a call at 713-STEVEN-K. That's 713-STEVENK. And we'll be happy to talk to you. And like I said before, if you call and you have a good question, good comment for the program, I'll be more than happy to send you to Laurel Langmeyer at the High Achievers Network on Tuesday, June 19th. It's a $300 ticket, my gift to you for just being a faithful listener. And feel free to call the program, 713-783-8365. That's STEVENK on your phone dial. So what do you think is the biggest challenge And I know it's not a challenge for you because this is what you help organizations do. But what do you think is the biggest challenge in an organization to develop these skills in people who are not used to having to apply them to their job?
Sure. And it is a challenge for me. It's just that it's something I'm very comfortable with, and so, we have ways of dealing with it. The biggest challenge in dealing with individuals who are not professional salespeople but are being asked to be involved in the selling process is fear. There's a perception of the word sell that has a negative connotation. There's all kinds of reasons for that, which we can go into if we need to. But bottom line is these people have a perception of what it is to sell, and they have to get past it. So one of our first courses is literally called Sell is a 4-letter word, but it's not evil. And they tend to be customer service-oriented individuals. So once they understand that selling is nothing more than customer service, giving good service to your customer and then asking for a fair compensation for that service, they actually get very comfortable with it and tend to enjoy it. So technical support people, service-oriented people, field support people, program managers, whoever it may be, they actually can become very powerful salespeople because they have the innate skills that are necessary to sell, that being active listening and task-oriented actions. So there you have it.
And I think a lot of that has to do with the belief system, not just with that person, but throughout the organizational culture. If you believe that your business provides real solutions to people's problems, people's pains inside whatever it is that you're doing for them, then you translate that to the customer as a service that you're doing for other people. And that fear, just like you said with these customer service-minded individuals in your company, seems to go away if they feel that they're actually providing the solution or being part of that mission. And I'd like to talk a little bit more about the fear aspect of that in the next segment. Let's go into some of the fear things that people feel in a little more detail when we get back. 713-STEVEN-K, that's 713-STEVENK. We want to talk to you. What's your biggest fear in the sales process? Give us a call now. We have more coming up in the next segment. We'll be right back right here on Life, Business, and Money. News you can use right here on Life, Business, and Money, going way beyond the headlines, because most of the stuff that we hear and see in the headlines, it just doesn't apply to our everyday life. And this show is about your life. This show is about how to grow your business. This show is about how to achieve the financial success and wealth that you are working toward. Life, Business, and Money, I'm Stephen K. This segment of the program is brought to you by Jim Grimm from Employers Resource. If you want a great PEO to help you manage your staff, your employee benefits, and do it cost effectively, then contact Jim. You can find him at employersresource.com or, of course, at my website, StephenKLive.com. I am here in studio talking with Adam Halpern, President and Principal Consultant of Soft Sell Training. Soft Sell Training is a wonderful organization that helps people expand the potential of their company by getting all of the employees involved in the sales process. And my question to you, the audience right now, is what is your biggest fear about the sales process? What is it about selling that kind of leaves you with that, oh, I don't want to do that feeling? You know, we're all scared of cold calling. Nobody likes to do that. That's just one aspect. Give me a call. Tell me what you think is the biggest obstacle in the sales process. 713-STEVEN-K. That's 713-STEVENK. Oh, here's another option. Maybe you are a sales professional out there right now. Maybe you can provide some good advice to somebody else that's listening. So if you're a sales professional, which I think we all are when it comes to business, but if you are a salesperson by trade, share what you think the biggest obstacle in sales is and how you overcome it. I know other people out there listening right now would love that piece of advice. So if you're a sales pro, call in 713-STEVEN-K. That's 713-783-8365. I will reward you for providing information that helps somebody else by sending you to the Texas High Achievers Network on June 19th to see Laurel Langmeyer, the Millionaire Maker, It's Tuesday night, the 19th at 5:30. It's going to be a great presentation. It's a $300 ticket. Yours if you call with a question or comment right now. 713-STEVENK. Now, Adam, you mentioned at the end of the last segment the biggest, one of the biggest reasons why it's hard for non-salespeople to get involved in this type of process to help the company grow is fear. And there are several factors of fear that people face when it comes to the idea of having to sell, even if it's a soft sell. It's a tough thing for people who don't do that day in and day out to learn. So what are some of those fears?
Sure. Although I will just cut this in before we do that. I love cold calling. And
You're one of the rare.
And the reason I love cold calling is I really believe in what I'm calling about. And so I'm just constantly excited about trying to find somebody who's going to benefit from the service that I have to offer.
Well, that goes into the belief topic, and we can go into that right now if you'd like, or we can save that for the next segment and talk about the fears first, because I think the other end of that is you really have to believe in what you're doing, and it has to be something that is a service provided to others. But that is a good point. Sure. That is a good point. But first, let's talk about the fear aspect. Why would somebody be afraid to try to help their company?
So what we come up against the most is the perception of this idea of selling. And here's the downside of what I call the art of selling. And I do think it's an art or a craft. I think it's something you can learn. I know it's something you can learn because I used to be a tech support guy and I had to teach myself to become a salesperson. But how many of you out there have experienced a bad selling experience? Right? A bad salesperson.
Hey, that's another story I would love to hear. Bad selling experience. 713-STEVEN-K, 713-STEVENK. Share, I said that way too fast. It's 783-8365 on your phone dial. Share a bad sales experience that you've had, and I'll give you a ticket to Laurel Langmeyer as well.
Now, I'll give you another one. How many good selling experiences have you had? I will say exponentially you've probably had more bad ones. The problem with sales is there's no barrier to entry into the profession. So there's a lot of crummy people out there doing selling. But you can make a lot of money. And so it's one of the few professions in the world where you can make the kind of money that professionals who have been through 8 years of education and basically jump into it immediately. So think instead of the bad ones, think of the good selling experiences you've had where you've met a professional who has listened to you, who you've opened up to, who understands your needs, your pains, your desires, and then offers you a solution that actually enhances your life.
And if you want to share that story with us here on the air, again, the number is 713-STEVENK.
Have you ever bought anything and actually you're like, you know what? That was a fair deal. Hey, that is a good selling experience. There's nothing wrong with paying a fair price for a fair service. Unfortunately, a lot of times you get the pushy bully sales guy. They're not professional. They're full of confidence and testosterone, but that doesn't make them professional salespeople.
Yeah, we've all had that guy at our door.
So those bad apples, unfortunately, do a disjustice to our profession. And so what we have to do with the people that we're training is help them understand that to be a professional in this industry, there's nothing wrong with driving intelligence, innovation, and integrity into your selling process.
And even more importantly is what you're dealing with specifically aren't those people who are in this profession directly. They are not there to be the sales accountant, the account executive, whatever title you give your salesperson.
Sure.
They're there to be customer support. They're there to be tech support. They're there to be receptionists. They're there to be marketing personnel. But in some aspect, they're contacting the customer, and it gives you an opportunity, if it's handled properly, to generate more sales for your business.
That's correct. Now, here the other fear that they tend to think selling is they're afraid it's going to cause conflict, right? That they're going to have a fight or an argument of some sort, or there's some kind of aggressive persuasion that takes place. If you're a bad salesperson, that may be the case. But in a good selling situation, the end of the sale should be nothing more than the logical conclusion to buy. Right? You've identified a need. You have something that's going to solve that need. It makes sense to buy whatever it is we're talking about at a fair price. That's it.
And the logic thing is in there. I've heard many sales coaches say people buy on emotion. That's only half true. People buy on emotion, but they back it up with logic.
That's correct.
There still has to be a logical need for them to have your product or service. They may think, oh, wow, this is the greatest thing since sliced bread, but if they don't actually have a need from it, at some point, that's when you start to see the people backing out of the process, backing out of the sale. You ever have that customer, who starts to say, well, they first say yes, and then 2 days later, well, I've been thinking about it, or they want to return it, and that's not a good thing. Something happened along the way that caused that.
Yeah, I mean, I hear it all. They're like, no, I'm not going to get into sales. You're not going to make me into a liar, or you're not going to, well, I can't use that word on the air. Bottom line is, you don't have to give up your values in order to be a salesperson.
I can't agree with that more. Value and integrity is number one in business. I don't care what you do. 713-STEPHEN-K is the number to call. I see some calls coming in. We're going to get to our calls in the next segment, so hang on the line, and we'll be back in just a few moments right here on Life, Business, and Money.
High Profile has the solution for your company's next promotional idea. With over 16 years of service, High Profile prides itself on overcoming their clients' promotional problems. Since most people don't have time to weed through catalogs and websites, High Profile makes it easy to do business. High Profile provides samples and suggestions that will fit your budget and reach your target audience. Whether you're looking for a specific item or just browsing for ideas, High Profile is your one-stop shopping source. From fun items to the traditional, you can easily search for some of the hottest items on the market. Let High Profile help your company look high profile in your industry with the right promotional product and creative idea. Visit them on the web at hprofile.com or email the owner, Deborah Faust, at debr@hprofile.com. That's Deborah at highprofile.com. High Profile has the solution for your company's next promotional idea. Email Deborah at highprofile.com. Small business owners know the frustration of managing human resource benefits and other HR expenses. Now there's an alternative way to manage your payroll, health insurance plans, 401k retirement program, cafeteria-style benefits, workers' compensation, unemployment claims, and government compliance issues. Outsource your total HR services to a company appropriately named Employers Resource. The Employers Resource of Houston helps small businesses achieve the HR purchasing power and expertise of a Fortune 500 corporation. Clients of Employers Resource can view secure and confidential information on the web at their convenience 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Don't let another day go by without taking a fresh look at how you manage your human resources. Log on to employersresource.com or call toll-free 888-255-6534. That's 888-255-6534. Call today. Thank you for joining Life, Business, and Money with Stephen K., the show that offers information and advice on improving your personal and professional life. Now, back to your host, Stephen K.
Welcome to the second half of Life, Business, and Money. This segment of the show is brought to you by Terry Treadway from Cornerstone Mortgage. Terry is our show advisor on real estate financing. You can hear her here on the program every week, as well as find out more information at terrytreadway.com. If you're looking for a top-notch mortgage professional to help you finance your real estate needs, call Terry. You can find her information at StephenKLive.com as well. While you're on my website, StephenKLive.com, there's two things I want you to look out for. Number one, subscribe to our newsletter. It's free. What's better than that? You'll get articles from all of our guests and sponsors on information that you can use in your business and in your life. You'll get our event calendar delivered to you every week and other great information that we like to share, more than what we can fit in onto this 1 hour program every day here at 3 o'clock. And the other thing at the website, which is in the newsletter, is our event calendar. If you're looking for networking events, training seminars, other business functions that can help you get get out there, meet people, and learn how to do better business, check out the event calendar. All of it is at StephenKLive.com, and it's there for your reference and for your resources. And that's exactly what we do here on the show, is we try to be a resource to your life, your business, your money. 713-STEPHEN-K is the number to call. We are talking with Adam Halpern, president of Soft Sell Training, about how to unlock the sales potential of all of your employees, regardless of their position in your organization. And we're going to get to the phones. Our next caller is John. And John, welcome to the show. What's your question or comment for Adam?
Yes, Stephen. Thanks for taking my call. I just wanted to speak. Earlier I heard you ask about tips, sales tips, and wanted to speak to overcoming objections.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. One of the things, I think the gentleman you had on it had mentioned that some of the, I guess, new sellers kind of get this fear of confrontation in front of a customer and not knowing how to handle that. And I've been selling for over 13 years now, and one of the best learnings that I've come across was overcoming that objection immediately in front of the customer. And the way you would do that through some of the training that I've taken, there's a method out there that's called the layer method, where you actually listen, obviously, to the customer, acknowledge his concerns, explore, his concerns, and then respond. And at that point, once you've heard what he's telling you, and you acknowledge the fact that you understand his pain, so to speak, and you explore a little bit, you come back with a total solution. And when you do that, you uncover a gap, and you realize this is the customer's current state right now, and his ideal state is whatever it may be, but you didn't already know that when you went into that sales call. So at that point, you're kind of at his level or her level and understand their situation, and hopefully just by understanding that process, you can close that gap and ultimately win a sale.
That's excellent, John. In fact, you know what? When I do my next sales training, I'll give you a call and you can step up and help me out.
John, that was a really great point.
I do want to add one more layer, if you will, to that.
I'm still here. I can just barely hear you guys.
Another way that I approach overcoming objections is exactly what you said. I love the fact that you said listen. And I don't mean just listen, hear what they're saying, all right? People want to know that you're listening to them. That builds intimacy and trust. But the trick also, when you say back to them what they said, I hear what you're saying, am I correct in that your objection is blah, 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 it helps you to identify if this is a hard objection or a soft objection. A hard objection is something that's not been clarified. Right? You have not done a full job in presenting the value. A soft objection is something more emotional. Right? There's a resistance that they need to get past to get comfortable to go ahead and move forward in the selling process. That's more of a soft skill, and by helping them clarify or by saying it back to them, that helps them clarify in their own mind where they are, and it helps you understand what kind of objection is really happening.
Hey, John, that was a great call and a great bit of information. That's why I love when the listeners call in, because they always bring in excellent insights. John, I'd like to send you to see Laura Langmeyer on June 19th if you'd like to go.
Well, that sounds great.
We'll put you on hold. Our producer Kyle will get your info, and we'll send you to her. No charge. It's a $300 ticket. Laurel is a great person. She's been on the show before. You'll have a good time. So, again, thanks for the call. And again, 713-STEPHEN-K. That's 713-STEVENK. You know, the listeners that are out there that listen to this program, I talk to them all the time. I see them at networking events. They call into the show. They send me great emails. I just love the aspects, the different insights that they provide on the issues that we discuss day in and day out.
Absolutely.
John just did a great job, and I know somebody out there right now is listening who really benefited from that advice. If you have a question or comment, if there's some information on selling that you'd like to share, give us a call at 713-783-8365. That's 713-STEVENK on your phone dial. We'll be happy to talk to you. Now let's keep moving on this, because the hour goes by so fast. We're talking about taking somebody who's traditionally not a salesperson and putting them in a position where they help the sales process in some way, shape, or form. Whether it's an add-on sale or customer relations, whatever it is. One of the things that I think with these people are motivational factors. How do you get these people motivated in order to actually do this job effectively?
Okay, great question. And it is unique to these individuals, or maybe I should say it a different way. Salespeople have very unique motivations. If you're ever wanting to hire a salesperson, just ask them what motivates them. If they don't answer money and competition, don't hire them. Right?
It's true. They're driven. They're type A personalities. They're very driven.
And there's nothing wrong with that. That is a professional salesperson. They should be in that role. The average individual that's out there is not a professional salesperson and is not driven. I'm not saying they're not motivated, but they're not driven the way a salesperson is by money and competition. Here's what is the good news, especially for all you business owners out there. You may be thinking, oh, I'm going to get these other people involved in the sales process. I'm going to have to give them a cut, commission, whatever it may be. What tends to drive or motivate people outside the direct sales force, service-oriented individuals, is the good old-fashioned attaboy. You would be amazed how far job well done goes with people like this. And for those of us that are in sales, getting a wooden plaque, well, we laugh at those, right? I'd sell the plaque for $5 and go out and get a drink. But the service people love them, right? They love the wooden plaque of Prospector of the Month or, open-ended question, best one of the quarter, whatever it may be. So you don't have to throw money at these people in order to get a good return on their efforts.
One of our show advisors, Deborah Foss from High Profile, gave us an article for our newsletter. I think it was one of the newsletters last month, and it was about what do employees want, and it was a comparison of what management thinks people want versus what employees actually say they want, and recognition was number 7 or 8 on the management list, business owner list. Recognition was number 1 on the employee list. People want to be recognized for their hard work and their good efforts.
There's the attaboy. Absolutely.
Now, what about the other end of that? You mentioned about motivational factors. What about the non-competitive factor?
That's actually a misnomer, a misunderstanding. People think that people outside of sales think that they're not competitive, but it's actually, if they are in the right frame of mind, if they're feeling that they're in their safe zone, they're comfortable, they turn out to be quite competitive. I think it's actually just human nature to be competitive. And so it's funny to watch these individuals kind of come to life. It's almost as if they have this, epiphany in that they actually do like to drive for success, and they are competitive. And so, the way you find that out is you include exercises and team building events in the adult learning experience to bring that out in them.
I've actually seen that in action. Anybody who listens to this show regularly knows I'm a hockey fan. If you know a little bit about my background, you also know I used to own a roller hockey rink here in Houston. And we had... we still do. There is a women's organization out there, a women's hockey organization out there that I participate in. It's called the Harpies, funny enough. But the funny thing about that is when women come into the sport for the first time, it's a very competitive, aggressive sport. And the women who are novice players tend to be, at first, very timid because it's an environment that they're not used to being in. And then 2 things happen as they develop the skills that they need to play the game. They either stay timid and therefore back out, which is a real shame, or more often than not, they become extra competitive, extra aggressive. They really get into the fact of the finesse and the skill it takes to play the game, and then they become more aggressive than the men. And so I see that in that same aspect. You have somebody that has typically a non-competitive personality, and they develop that competitive attitude as they as they get into it a little bit more.
That is exactly what happens with most of the clients I work with. And it's wonderful to see, because at the end of the day, most of us who got into training and development, sure, we want to make a profit and make revenue, but most of us got into this business to try and better people's lives. And what's wonderful is to see these students who are held back by fear, which we've already talked about, overcome that fear and walk out with this general sense of self-confidence and this new skill. And they're hilarious. They go out and try and sell the pants off anything because they've kind of overcome an obstacle that's been holding them back maybe their whole lives, and they haven't realized it. And it's overcoming fear of conflict and overcoming fear of communication.
Well, we have one more segment in the show. We are going to cut to a quick break, but we'll be back in a moment. 713-STEVENK is the number to call if you want to get in with a comment or question in the last segment, right when we come back on Life, Business, and Money. Welcome back to the last segment of Life, Business, and Money. The last few minutes boiling down here. Adam, we've talked about a lot of different ways for people to help increase their sales potential throughout their organization. What do you want to leave with the listeners there today?
If I had to wrap it up, I would say the primary reason that I think we're all in business is to provide service. And so the more individuals that you can get involved in your organization in providing high-quality service and asking for a fair price in return, the better you're going to be as a person and the stronger your business is going to be.
You know, I can't agree with you more, because I truly believe that the highest calling we could have in life, the most noble thing you can do, is to be in service to others. And that's a great way to put it. Even in our business, we have to be there to serve the people that do business with us. Thank you, Adam, for being here today and sharing your advice and expertise.
It was a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
And we will be here next week. We've got a great lineup of shows for you. You're going to hear from some of our regular show advisors, like Terry Treadway from Cornerstone Mortgage, Tony Hodgson from Cap 5, Deborah Foss from High Profile, Jim Grimm from Employer Resource. We're confirming that Laurel Langmeyer will be on the show next week. So that should be on the show calendar at StephenKLive.com. And, of course, she'll be in town on June 19th. So all of next week, I'll be giving away more tickets to go see Laurel, the millionaire maker, at the High Achievers Network. That's all I have time for.